One of the things I really like when I come out to do some filming sessions and we're at a charging location, we're here at a supercharger, but trouble with supercharger, and this particular one is Tesla only, so you only ever see Teslas here. And yet over the other side of the car park, we've got a grid serve installation going in, still not connected yet. We've been filming that one for about a year. There's 12 350 kilowatt chargers going in there. But in the meantime, there's two of the original electric highway grid serves. Believe it or not, they're 40 kilowatts dual bay. One of them is a CHAdeMO and the CCS2, the other one's 2 CCS2. And it means that if you have a car there and there's two of you charging, you're getting 20 kilowatts, absolutely ludicrous. But while we were over there, it's really interesting to see the new Ford Explorer EV was plugged in over there. We did film that, and then we were finding a charging speed there of 37 kilowatts. It was pretty much flat out. I know the car's capable of an awful lot more. This is obviously a brand new car. This is the Ford Explorer. It is based on the ID4 platform, and it's literally just a rebadged ID4 with a slightly different body on it. But charging here at GridServe, these are 40 kilowatt chargers, and we've got a charging speed of 39 kilowatts. So this charger itself is flat out. This car is capable of much more than 40 kilowatts. It's on less than 50% state of charge, so it should be pulling a lot more. But it just shows the limitation of these chargers. Prior to the new ones going in, there were two grid serves here, and believe it or not, they were dual bay. 40 kilowatt dual bay is just an absolute joke. But that's what was here. And so people on a motorway trip, like this car, which is capable of well over 150 kilowatts, they would be charging at 39 kilowatts if they were on their own, like they are in this case. But if anyone pulled in alongside, that would drop down to about 20 kilowatts. And at 20 kilowatts, this comes into play. This is the fast charger here. Contactless again, which is very rare on a fast charger. But these are 22 kilowatt fast chargers. So as long as that was capable of 22 kilowatts, then they would be able to charge here as fast as if they were sharing one of the main chargers here, the 40 kilowatt ones. I don't know the charging speed on the fast charger, but my car, the Tesla Model S, that's got a maximum speed of 11 kilowatts. So even I can't use all of this. Even the latest Teslas, the Model S, even the Model 3 and the Model Y, they're all 11 kilowatts, so they top out. So none of them can use the full speed of this, like this one can't use the full speed of what it is capable of. But we came here a long while ago to film the grid serve going in. We were told it was going to be Christmas, then it was going to be Easter, and here we are today, and yeah, it's just ground to an absolute halt. So there we are. I'm going to leave it like that for now because there's nothing happening here, but we are going to go over to the Tesla supercharger, and that one has opened up. Hooray! At last. We've been following this one for over 12 months, and chargers have been in for about 10 months. So that's, we're going over there now. I'm always cheeky, I just go up to people and talk to them, it's part of my job, and he was very chatty. He was in a bit of a hurry, so we didn't get a lot of time with him. It was interesting to find out why he was driving a all EV. And it turns out he's the owner of a company, and he doesn't drive EVs. He has a big Ford Ranger V6, big monster of a thing, very high up, and he loves that, apart from the fact that it is less than a year old and it has a blown turbo. And he was complaining that it's been in the garage for a month waiting for parts, and they've given him a number of other vehicles to keep him going in the meantime. But that car turned out to be, it's a Range Rover. That turned out to be not his car, his wife's car. He's the owner of a company, he drives a big V8 petrol, but his brother drives an electric car and his wife drives an electric car, and that's the wife's car. So it's done less than 700 miles. It's a 74 plate, so it's a brand new vehicle, and it's Ford's newest entry. To me, not a bad car at all, hugely overpriced still, and I'm always going on about price, but that is such an expensive car. But anyhow, we were talking to him and I was asking him to compare this with the V8. And he said, performance-wise, this is really fast. Loves it, quiet. He said, didn't find it very comfortable. He says, a little bit low down for him. He's used to higher up. But also he found the seats a little bit hard. Now, we got talking also. I'm very interested because a number of people we've talked to recently, we were at Lidl's and we were talking to Susan, who had had the car handed to her with absolutely no explanation as to what it is. It was a company car, here's your key, off you go, and had no idea. So we were talking to him about what he or his wife actually got when they picked up the car. And he said it was less than 5 minutes. It was, here's your key, here's the controls, here's how you turn it on, off you go. And I find that attitude absolutely appalling. Someone like his wife or him, they've been driving petrol for the whole of their adult life. That's all they're ever used to. And yet when you get in an EV, it is totally different. And one of the things he commented on was range anxiety. He got in, there was, he said when he picked it up, there was 170 miles left in the range, and he knew he couldn't make it to his destination on this particular journey. So instantly it was range anxiety. How am I going to charge? Where am I going to charge? What am I going to charge? And unfortunately he's picked one of the worst chargers in the world to use because he was only getting 37 or 39 kilowatts speed anyway, but if another car pulled alongside, he'd be down to 20. He'd be sitting there forever waiting for that battery to charge up. And that's a really bad start and a bad introduction to EVs. Now, when I picked up mine, it was a used car, but I grabbed the rep. They call them agents over there. They're not on commission only. They are employed and salaried. And I wouldn't let him go. I sat him in the car with me before we even moved it and said, right, how do I turn it on? How do I get in? How do I lock it? How do I adjust my seat? How do I set my profile? How do I set all the settings like the regenerative braking, the suspension, the steering sensitivity? How do I do this? How do I do that? And he was very good. He must have spent about 35, 40 minutes with me in the car. And he said, look, do you mind if I just set it up the way you should have it? And then I'll go through what you should be changing to if you want to change. And he literally just opened up the main display, tap, 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 tap. He said, right, it's ready for you to drive now, but let me explain what I've done. This is your steering sensitivity. So if you find this is too hard or too soft, here's where you change it. Here's for your regenerative braking. And he went through all of the controls saying, you've got the best setting at the moment if I was setting this up, but this is where you change it if you don't. And it must have been, as I say, about 40 minutes. And to me, that's an absolutely critical part of any EV. If you take one out on a test drive, do that. Get the rep or the agent or the salesman to sit in with you before you set off and say, how do I do this? How do I do that? And go through everything with them. Because at that point, you suddenly start realizing these are not as scary as people think. In terms of charging, he said that one of the first things his brother told him to do was to get the Tesla app. Unfortunately, on this particular journey, he doesn't go past any of the Tesla open to all superchargers. So that's why he's here. And he picked the worst possible charger in the whole of the country he could, apart from ones that are broken, to actually do his first session at. We want to say thank you to all our supporters over on Patreon. Well, this is where we can provide extras like behind the scenes content, occasional bloopers, and community meetups. We also have an online chat for those who have questions, feedback, or suggestions for the channel. For more details, please see this description down below. I'm Dave.